Hey guys, really interesting close of the market last week. Coming into Friday, things were looking pretty good. We knew there was a little bit of a trepidation in the market, a little bit of concern with the Comey testimony, but a lot of those times you've had hedges come on and they just completely come unwound. And it looked like we were going to follow suit with that scenario that we've seen in the past. Hedge on, hedge off once the news comes out, sell the rumor, buy the news. And the market kind of changed his mind intraday and said, "No, I'm going to start take some chips off the table." And you saw it really take it out of the momentum stocks. A lot of the performance chasing stocks really got hammered. And to me, it looked more like just profits being locked in. These had run way too much. I look at Tesla on Friday. I commented on StockTwits that it looked ridiculously overbought. I took a short position. It's my third short position in the week that I've taken in Tesla. One I held over. The other ones I didn't, luckily, or I would have got crushed. But we had Amazon down, we had Facebook, all the FANG stocks, even the mid-tier momentum stocks really took it on the chin. The Dow was pretty much strong throughout the day, and the S&P, I guess, kind of looked over at one point and said, "Wow, what's going on with the Nasdaq?" And even those indices started to feel a little bit of selling pressure going into the close, but trying to figure out here whether this is the beginning of something bigger, like we're always trying to do, and have some sort of um, we want to keep ourselves safe here and have a discipline, no doubt about it. But we don't want to give up any of the gains that we've seen over the longer term to the upside. So you guys know I don't do really traditional technical analysis. A lot of times I look at directional changes in the market. I draw these little pivots. We've talked about them ad nauseum. So I want to kind of show you something unique here and different, and maybe open your eyes to a new way of looking at channels in the market. Not using moving averages, not using Fibonacci's, which I do use both of, but kind of show you what I'm looking at here. And the simplest way to look at it is on a line chart. A lot of people don't use line charts. They're not precise enough when you're looking at movements in a smaller time frame. But over a longer period of time, I think they work really well and they kind of take out the noise. And I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Obviously, I'm going to draw this in real time, but you can see our first directional change that I think from a sideways consolidation kind of happens in this area right about here. And then if we run a line from there, top side, you'll see where you actually see another change in momentum in the market. And remember, this is in real time, so these might not be exact, but you guys can replicate them on your own and make them a little bit more exact. So definitely a momentum change we saw. And it doesn't even matter whether you have higher highs further down. You do have some channel changes here. So this is my first channel. I would say we have a pivotal directional change right around the 235 in the S&P. And like I said, you can have a higher high along the line here, but the channel, in my opinion, has changed. You can even look at your older highs; those now become your new support levels. And we need more time behind us on the top end to figure out that one. But you can kind of see what I'm looking at here across the line. And as I start to add lines here, it'll start to make sense to you. So the next line we want to draw is here from this pivot point over, and it actually creates a line where we saw a momentum change, and we're sitting literally right on the top of that, in my opinion. So let's look at what we're talking about here. So here's your momentum move. Here's the break. Here's where you go into a new consolidation pattern, in my opinion. And then your final pivot point should be drawn from here. Once again, real time, so these might not be perfect. And you now have a parallel channel in the S&P 500, at least somewhat parallel. And this is the channel that I'm looking at right here. We're right on the edge of breaking it, just like we broke here. Doesn't mean we can't create a higher high down the road. It just means that we're going into a different channel, in my opinion, and back into this channel rather than the momentum channel. We do give it 2 days, 3 days of the upside, 3 days of the bottom end before we change direction and correct an overbought or oversold condition. And you can kind of see how I was talking about a few weeks ago. These were kind of blow off areas. And if you run it right across here and remove those outlier days, you can kind of see how the channel top created a move right along in here. And you'll see what I'm talking about once I change this to a candle chart. We can do that right now, and everything will kind of tie together, and you'll understand what I'm looking at. So here's our candle pattern, and you're looking at it now, and you're all saying, wow, that makes a lot of sense now. And you can see how 2 days under, 2 to 3 days over, it didn't really matter. These look like blow-offs, and if you put the volume up here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look at the volume here. Really high volume right on this day. Directional change, distribution, big drop down, big volume here, directional change to the upside, and then kind of worrisome here, big volume change, bearish engulfing candle. Here's your channel that I'm worried about. We break here on a close, 2-3 days. I think we go down and test the lower channel here. And then obviously we have a longer term channel in this area here. Old high, pivot break to the upside, retest in the channel to the trajectory of the upside, overbought, and then now you have your two channels, channel 1, channel 2. Take it to a bar chart and you can see even closer what I'm looking at here. 1, 2, 3 closes over, can't hold it. 2 closes over. 2 and 3s are my favorites to use. Can't even get into the top side momentum, but within this parameter here, this is a little bit of a momentum channel. So a little bit of a battle in here between the bulls and the bears. Looks like the bears might take over here, pull this down. We get 2 or 3 days under here. In my opinion, we're going to go test this bottom end of this channel. We don't hold that. We're going to go test this one. And the SMA that I've been using is the 30. That's kind of keeping us safe. You can see how well it's worked out. Breakdown here, a few days under. Can't get back over. Look at this. Push through. Wick, wick, wick. Couple wicks. Failure. Break above it. Now you're back in the market. Hold the 30. Tail through. Didn't close under. Tail through. Didn't close under. Tail through. Didn't close under. Closes under here. Directional change. Now becomes resistance. The 30 is working like a charm. Boom. Over 2 days under. Doesn't really matter. Fixing the technical damage. And it looks like we're probably going to go down and retest it. So that's my perspective on the market here. I'm not going to try to guess it. I let the technicals tell me the directional change that we're going to see, or the possible consolidation channel that we're going to go in before we make another move higher. Don't discount it. We've seen it before. Like I said, these are higher highs than these prior moves, but to me, they really aren't. We have a more of a sideways directional change here, less of an upward trajectory, and you can see in the channels that I drew prior to this chart.